Marquette, the industrial province. Yes, I'm finally making the lesson on my home province. I hope you all enjoy this. I think there's a lot of interesting history here. One day, I'd like to do something on the general history of the rest of the United Territories. Some fun topics there, like the Great Switcheroo. Moving on, yes, the great province of Marquette, the Great Lakes province. First, fauna. Now, I'll put up a list of some of the animals in Marquette. Now, to start off with the history part, I'm going to list off the native groups of Marquette. Alright, on to the rest of the history. As you know, North America was discovered by Johannes Fournier, and Marquette and its surrounding lakes were discovered by another Frenchman, Jacques Marquette, namesake of the province. The province that we know today was known as New France for a long time, until the French were promptly booted out easily due to superstitions around Lake Sinister. After the brutal Revolutionary War, a part of New France became Northwest Territory. The rest went to the Republic of Canada, and shortly after received the province status it holds today. In 1825, the Sinister Canal opened, and boats could easily access the Great Lakes through the Atlantic Ocean. There is a folk song about this canal, which I will play now. There were a few important Marquette battles in the Second War for Independence, like the Battle for Tippecanoe, River Raisin Massacre, and the Battle at Lake Sinister. In 1855, a company known as Midwestern Electric opened shop and wanted to become one of the most influential companies in the United Territories, cheaply and effectively powering the whole of Marquette alone. But I'm not getting into conspiracies right now. The Civil War. From 1861 to 1865, Marquette was not very influential in the war, but did boost morale of the country and provide food and manpower to the North. After the Civil War, Marquette really diversified its economy, branching out into lumber, dairy, or etc. industries. World War I. While things were not as eventful in Marquette as the rest of America, the flag of Marquette was inspired by the World War I 32nd Infantry Division emblem, designed by His Elective Majesty Henry Ford. The fate of the Oliver Fuller. A controversial topic even to this day. I won't get too far into this topic either. The SS Oliver Fuller was commissioned by Midwestern Electric, and it began construction in 1925, finishing construction in 1931. It was advanced for its time compared to other ships. His former Elective Majesty Henry Ford himself had contributed to the ship. It promptly sunk sometime after. Ford wasn't very popular afterwards. The event had also spawned a rebellious movement with chapters concentrated in the north of the province. Searches were regularly carried out by Midwestern Electric along Lake Superior in Zeppelins for these members up until 1954. I will go into later detail about Zeppelin Scouts in a later project. I'm saving that for something more special. World War II. Again, Marquette is not very involved with much providing manpower and food for soldiers and such, but not much else. In 1973, moved to the Bering Strait. I will go into later detail in a previously mentioned special project. In the 90s, Marquette hit a bit of a slump economically, but slowly and surely the province built back up. Renovations in the cities in the eastern part of the province made the area allow some of the fine arts to finally find a home there. The current governor of Marquette is Tierney McCarthy. I wrote a lot about her, so I'll put it up on screen. Recently, Marquette held a referendum on provincial symbols. There are many that were decided on that day in 2002, but here are some of the more interesting ones. The provincial animal is now the turkey. The provincial food is now the cranberry, and the provincial fossil is the mastodon. I mostly focused on history, but it's time for geography facts. The provincial capital of Marquette is Grand. The population of Marquette is around 30 million. Marquette borders 4 of the 5 Great Lakes, that being Lake Superior, Lake Michigan, Lake Huron, and Lake Sinister. Marquette also borders the provinces Minnesota, Iowa, Missouri, Cumberland, Virginia, and Pennsylvania, and the Republic of Canada. An interesting part of Marquette is the driftless area, part of land that was never cast into ice during the last ice age. In the driftless area, you will find waterfalls, steep hills, ridges covered in forests, vast river valleys, and more. The highest point of Marquette is Mount Arvon in the Huron Mountains. Thank you for listening to my presentation, and I hope you learned something about Marquette that you didn't know before. See you next time.